It's time for Dodger baseball.
What's going on, Dodgers Nation? Doug McCain here. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DMac_LA. Welcome to the Dodgers Nation post-game show after LA loses again in extra innings, this time to the New York Mets. They split the series with the Mets and the Dodgers. They struggle again in a one-run game. So far this year, 0-4 in extra innings, 2-5 in this homestand. They're 4-6 in one-run games this year, and last year you saw the struggles they had in extra innings games, one-run games. And that narrative continues this year. So that's really been a common thread for last season and this season. The Dodgers still best recorded in the National League, and they're one of the best teams in the league, but they struggle in these close games. We're going to break it all down. We're going to talk about Julio Urias' outing. We're going to talk about the bullpen issues. You saw Brusdar Graterol struggle once again. 6 runs given up by Brusdar Graterol in his last 2 outings today and yesterday. Vesia had the critical walk. He wasn't able to get it done. The bottom of the 9th, the Dodgers, they found a way to extend this game after a fantastic bat down to their last strike, down to their last out by Chris Taylor. He doubles to left. We saw the leadoff home run in that inning by Will Smith, but unfortunately it wasn't enough. How about the umpiring by John Bacon? I mean, John Bacon, you saw the at bat to Davis, the second pitch, that was clearly a strike on the outer half, low in the zone, and Kimbrel doesn't get the call, and he ends up hitting that double. But let me know down below in the comments section, what are your big takeaways from today's Dodgers loss? LA loses 5-4 in extra innings, 0-4 in extras this season. Now, the first question I have for you guys today is, why do you think the Dodgers struggle in extra innings? Why do you think they struggle so mightily in one-run games? Let me know down below. Is it Dave Roberts? Is the fact they're missing their high leverage guy in Blake Trinan? Today I felt like Wolverine just looking at Blake Trinan, missing Blake Trinan, wanting him in those high leverage spots. But let me know down below. The bottom line too is the Dodgers, they needed to score runs in today's game, and you saw they had multiple opportunities to score more runs. I think what really sticks out is the at bat in the 5th. You had runners on the corners. You had in the 5th inning, you had Alvarez at 3rd, and Trey Turner ends up striking out. That was a missed opportunity, but for the most part, not enough by this Dodgers offense today. But let's jump into this comment section. We got Gregory Peach. They struggle because of Dave. They struggle because of Dave. You think it's not a really great series for Dave Roberts after what happened yesterday? Yes, I'm going to drop a breakdown about all the confusion yesterday, and we talked to Dave Roberts after the game yesterday, and he talked about him just using Justin Turner last year in that spot, and the fact that they weren't unaware. He was accountable for it, but yeah, yesterday wasn't a good look, and you saw they had to use Evan Phillips, and today they get an inning out of Phillips. I think they were hoping to get multiple innings out of him today, but really kind of this loss, you see the effects of a short outing from Walker Buehler. So Buehler, he gives you a short outing, and it really puts this bullpen that's already been decimated by injuries behind the 8 ball, and they really struggled today. They looked a little fatigued, a little worn out. But here we go. Fire Dave Roberts from Antonio Rubio. By the way, if you guys bring a hot take, you're going to hear this fire sound. If you're going to give a nice burn, you're going to hear the finish up sound from Mortal Kombat. Go Dodgers as always, though. Brian Perez, disappointed. I agree Dave is the problem from Stan, the Rams fan. Antonio Rubio, fire Dave Roberts. Ray Barsimeon, Graterol hasn't looked good. The Dodgers definitely miss Blake Trinan. That's from Ray Barsimeon. Yeah, I mean, when you look at Brusdar Graterol, he's had some ups and downs. There's no question about it. And I think when you look at this game, but when it comes to we're going to break that all down. So what are your guys' thoughts about Brusdar Graterol? Let's jump into some more comments here, and then we'll go crazy with the breakdown. But terrible run support for Urias. That's from Joseph Megazetti. Yeah, I mean, that changes from year to year. Yes, last year he was one of the tops in the league when it comes to run support. This year, I mean, it's just over 2, and he hasn't been afforded that run support that he experienced last season. But the fact is, I think Urias, you kind of feel good about Julio's outing today. I mean, he goes 5 1/3, throws 90 pitches. And I think what I liked about Julio, better command on that four-seam fastball, 15 swings and misses. You saw him, he got Nemo swinging with that four-seam fastball for a punch out in the first inning. Escobar with that four-seamer swinging in the second. Got Davis swinging on that four-seam later in the game. They got Marte with that changeup. So just 4 punch-outs, but you saw much better command with that four-seam fastball. He wasn't leaving it out over the plate. They were elevating it at times, changing the eye levels, and they were keeping the breaking stuff low, from the changeup to the slurve. I thought it was a much better outing for Julio. He's a lot closer to being the pitcher we know he's capable of being than Walker Buehler is right now, and I thought that that was something to build on. You're going against this very potent Mets lineup that was scoring over 8 runs a game in their last 9 heading into this series, and he definitely took a step in the right direction, did Julio Urias, and he can join the club of Cy. The Urias can join the Cy Anderson and the great Catsbys of the world to being one of the better starters on this team. But what were your thoughts on Julio's outing? Can you grade it on Julio's outing on a scale of A, B, C, D, or F? And also, too, yesterday, I mean, look, Walker Buehler, there's no question about the fact that he did struggle, but, hey, I mean, we saw him, what this bullpen had to go through yesterday, using 7 relievers in yesterday's game, and I thought Walker Buehler, yes, he did struggle mightily. Yes, he did give up those home runs on some of the breaking stuff, which is also concerning. But I think that, look, if you're this Dodgers team, I mean, you give one quick hook on Buehler yesterday, and you saw the effects of it in today's game. So I think, of course, you don't want to leave him out there to die, so to speak. But I think when you consider how taxed this bullpen has been and the fact they've dealt with so many injuries, I think the fact that Walker Buehler goes 2 1/3 innings, 65 pitches yesterday. Yes, those were high-stress innings, but, I mean, look, you left Tyler Anderson out there against the Phillies after giving up all those runs and home runs as well. So I just think that, yeah, I mean, to me, I think that I don't necessarily agree with that decision, especially when you consider the fact he had thrown so many four-seam fastballs yesterday, hadn't even really established the feel for that curveball, that cutter. I'm just kind of have my questions about that as well. But, yeah, lots to talk about on this one, guys. Fire Dave Roberts, the Nimrod from Boomer Assassin. Michael Snow, where is Daniel Hudson today? It's from Michael Snow. Yeah, I mean, Daniel Hudson, really, he's been the Dodgers' best high-leverage reliever at this point in the season. That's why they signed him. And he's been a guy that you're seeing the electricity on his fastball. He's touching 97, 98. He's punching out guys. You saw the big save he got against the Diamondbacks. And, look, he pitched on 2 consecutive days on Thursday and Friday. An inning on Thursday, he allowed no runs, no hits. And then Friday, he goes 4 outs, an inning and a third. And we don't see him Saturday, and we don't see him Sunday. So the fact that he was down today, I mean, to me, I think that's a big question, because you look at the fact that before Thursday, he hadn't pitched since the previous Saturday. So going to wonder why Daniel Hudson was down. And he's a guy, look, you got to win these games. I mean, you saw Buck Showalter going with Edwin Diaz there in the 8th inning. I mean, I like the buttons that he pushed in this series, and I think you want to be aggressive. You want to set the tone and send a message to a franchise that's after you in the New York Mets. The New York Mets are like the Walmart version of the Dodgers right now, right? They're the Wish version of the Dodgers, and we know that they're using the Dodgers as the model, and you come into our house in Chavez Ravine, you get that split. I think it's a bad look, but it is baseball. We got Braves better, Braves worsa. Okay, Braves better. Look, I'm going to give you the whole show. I know that not the sharpest tool in the shed. Your tomahawk isn't very sharp. Let's put it that way. I'm going to give you the whole show to think of something more clever than Beta Braves in all caps. Go ask your mommy or your daddy to spell something out, because, hey, in 2020 we gave you the ATL and we won the World Series. We came back when you blew that 3-1 lead, and then last year you won because the Dodgers ran out of gas. But, hey, you got to worry about the New York Mets. I think you're going to be a one-hit wonder, okay? But here we go. Need to send Gratterall to the minors to work on mechanics. That's from Michael over on YouTube. Yeah, when you look at Brusdar Gratterall, he's a guy that he benefited from that last year, and you saw this year he's a guy that, look, he's had some starts where, I mean, some appearances where you feel good about it because you're seeing a little more swing and miss. You're seeing him go to that cutter and generate some swing and miss that he learned from the grip from Kenley Jansen. But for the most part, he's just still not there. He's just not there. And yeah, I mean, what are you guys' thoughts on Brusdar Graterol? I mean, if you look at his numbers, I hear a lot of people out there when they want to talk about Brusdar Graterol, they say, "Oh, don't worry about the punch outs because he's a guy that pitches to contact." No, you need to miss bats to keep hitters off balance at the big league level. It's just not going to cut it, his style of pitching, and I think that was evidence there. That was evidence in, today when you saw the top of the eighth. You saw the top of the eighth with Brusdar Graterol, and that was really the issue in that inning. He just wasn't able to. It was a big test for him, top of the order, the meat of the order of that Mets lineup, and you saw what he was able to do. Lindor, he hits that ground rule double to start off the inning, and Brusdar goes with that slider, goes inside, high, and then it goes with the cutter inside high, and then he goes with that cutter and leaves a little more middle out over the plate. I mean, just look at that pitch sequencing there. That's where lefties will like it. They want that cutter on the inside, down low, and of course Lindor is a switch hitter, but that's just not a great pitch sequence for him, and then you're also falling behind in the count in that at-bat. So you already put yourself in a tough situation, and then Pete Alonso, first pitch, he goes with the slider. They want to give him the softer stuff, and he just bangs it, and he doubles. So he gets that double, and then Davis, he gets him to ground out to second. Alonso goes to third, and then he hits Canna with that four-seam fastball. And look, the thing too is, like, I mean, the guy, the lack of control on his four-seam fastball and his inability to get it chest high and elevate on hitters, I just don't know what the big issue is there. I mean, I think that's something they need to continue to work on because the velo clearly is there. But look, a lot of people get caught up in the velocity of Brusdar Graterol, but one thing you need to look at is how short that extension is, okay? The extension, it doesn't look like a 100 miles per hour fastball. It looks like a 97 mile per hour fastball or 96, something like that, because that extension is so short. So don't get caught up on velo gazing, okay? It's not about the velo as much as it is keeping hitters off balance. I mean, look at what Clayton Kershaw is able to do with a 90 mile per hour fastball because of his tunneling, because of how effective he is with that slider. But really, if you want to look at where Brusdar Graterol is in his development, look no further than the 10-pitch at-bat to Escobar. So the 10-pitch at-bat to Escobar after Lindor tied it, after Lindor scored the run to tie it at 2-2 after the Alonso double. If you look at that Escobar at bat, first pitch he misses with the fastball, the four-seamer. Then he gets a swinging strike on that cutter. Then he misses with the fastball again, misses with the cutter, and then he goes with the sinker, bottom of the zone, really nice pitch there, 97 to make it 2-2. And then you see Escobar, he fouls off four straight pitches. Fours off the four-seamer, fouls off the slider, bottom of the zone, fouls off the four-seam on the inner half, and then he fouls off the four-seam fastball again. And then with the slider, he was able to get that sac fly to right. So you saw his inability to finish off hitters, and that is the big issue with Brusdar Graterol. He can get you into two-strike counts. He can get you to where you're at a point where you're just one strike away, but you have to finish the job. You have to
finish him,
in the words of Mortal Kombat. And I think that he's just still a work in progress. Graterol trash from Barry Scott. I have no faith in Will Smith. I think Will Smith, Daniel Tafoya. Will Smith, if you look at his predictive stats, if you look at his hard hit percentage, quality of contact, he is due for some big results. And yes, he's hitting sub 200 in the cleanup spot, but to me, you leave him in that spot because you saw in the at-bat there in the ninth inning, he's such a competitor. And that was not even a bad pitch there. That was not even a bad pitch there by Lugo. Really a two-seamer that bottom of the zone, outer half, and he just stuck his bat out there and he barreled it and hits it over the fence to left field. So to get that, he's a guy that get homer to both fields. So to get that opposite field shot from Will Smith, he's the least of the Dodgers' problems right now, and I think that he's due for a hot streak. So yeah, to me, I think you definitely, if you look at his, like I said, if you look at his expected slug, if you look at a lot of these statistics and his BABIP and things like that, that kind of are able to predict kind of the results of a player, he's just kind of due for some regression. I think that he's going to see that regression. I think that you look at, too, I think the unfortunate thing was the very last pitch of the game, he goes up there with another opportunity against Medina, and he ends up swinging at that sinker out of the zone. And this year he's in the 100th percentile in chase rate. He just does not chase pitches, so a very uncharacteristic chase right there by Will Smith. But here he goes, struggles, Kimbrel, that's from Jose Maria Aguirre. I actually think that it was a positive day for Craig Kimbrel. I think if you look at Craig Kimbrel, what he was able to do there in the top of the 9th inning, goes 1-2-3. He got Marte to fly to left on the first pitch. You saw what he was able to do against Lindor. He struck out Lindor's swing with that curveball, and then he got Alonso swinging. So I mean, if you look at what he's able to do, he's continuing to miss bats to get big punch outs, and I think he looked very crisp in that 9th inning. You saw the electricity of that fastball pumping 97 miles per hour, better finish on it. It looks like it's going through the catcher's mitt, not to the catcher's mitt. Also, better command of that curveball. You saw him throw that curveball for the strike against Lindor, that knuckle curve bottom of the zone. He landed that. So I think it was an encouraging day for Craig Kimbrel. And look, he wasn't expecting to go 2 innings. I know it probably was in the back of his mind, but you throw him out there in the 10th inning, which I think is the right move. I just think, too, I mean, the runner on second rule is just the stupidest, dumbest, lamest beer league softball thing ever. It makes Major League Baseball look so amateurish compared to other sports. I think it's just gross and just downright, for lack of a better word, just dumb. I mean, it just makes this sport look so childish and cheap to have a runner on second. I think it's just the most, I just can't stand it. Where the hell is Hudson, AC/DC freak? We got Boomer Assassin. Bueller needs to forget about his four-seam and reinvent himself. Boomer Assassin. I agree with the reinventing himself, but the four-seam did show some signs of life yesterday. It's just glove side command. You're noticing when you look at his next start, look for that glove side command because he's missing high and inside, especially to right-handed hitters. And I think with him, the spin rate is down, so you're not seeing that perceived rise that was generating either soft contact or missing bats. But yeah, I mean, I think you saw in that first inning yesterday with Walker Buehler. And with Walker Buehler, you saw him in the first inning yesterday what he was able to do, and I think he looked more like the Walker Buehler that we've seen in the past. And I think the Walker Buehler that is a guy that he has to reinvent himself. There's no question about it, and you want to see him try to have more success with some of his secondary pitches. But I thought that if he can, I mean, of course, the home run to Lindor, it was that curveball that just kind of hung there yesterday. But he did get Alonso swinging, and he got him swinging on that slider. You saw him get the punch out with the changeup in the first inning. So I think as long as he's using the secondary pitches to kind of speed the hitter up with that with his four-seam fastball, he's going to be just fine. And look, after the game, Walker Buehler, he told us, he said basically that a small little victory was a slight velo increase on that four-seam fastball. You saw him finally get it up to 97, but like I said, for him the more important thing is the pitch mix. And I think yesterday he's a guy that had been throwing that four-seam 32% of the time. Yesterday he threw it 46% of the time, just didn't have the feel for that knuckle curve early. But let's focus on today's game. But here we go. Let me know, do you guys love or hate the runner on second in extra innings? Let's do some rapid-fire comments, and we'll keep breaking down this game. Damien, Gratterall getting overused, going to be the next bias at this rate. Ryan and Freeman for having the biggest payroll in baseball, but he still has a garbage bullpen every year. Bob Pauly. I mean, look, I think the issue, I mean, they were fully expecting Tommy Kahnle to be a big part of this bullpen. Phil Bickford hasn't been out like you've seen. You also seen Daniel Hudson. He stepped up into this role. But I think for the most part, just losing Blake Trinan, that just pulls everything out of whack. It's almost like a nice Jenga game, and you pull that Blake Trinan block, and everything just kind of falls down. I think that's kind of the issue with his bullpen right now, because they leaned on him in the 6th, the 7th, the 8th. He had 7 saves last year. And I think when it comes to him, that he just kind of made things easy on Dave Roberts, because you could throw him in to any situation against the meat of the order for the opposing team. And unfortunately, losing out on Blake Trinan, who is clearly a top 5 to 10 reliever in the game when he's on. And the good thing, he was playing some catch. He was throwing it at 45 yards yesterday. I saw him playing catch, and he was in good spirits. I talked to him a little bit about how he's doing, and he still feels that that he's going to do everything he can to get back on the mound. So hopefully the Dodgers can get him back. Pound Roberts never disappoints from pound for pound. Why are they still using the runner on second extras? What's the point of that? I mean, they want to try to shorten the game as much as possible. I mean, you don't want to wear bullpens out, and you understand it but to me, it cheapens the game. It cheapens the game. To me, it absolutely cheapens the game. And I know that, look, overtime rules in basketball goes from a 12-minute quarter to a 5-minute quarter. If you look at football, they've modified their overtime rules where it's not just a field goal kick. To me, it almost feels like the field goal kick rule for Major League Baseball is like they've almost reverted to that, where in the NFL, it used to be a field goal kick could win you the game. Now the other team has a chance to respond, and if they don't, then they lose the game. But to me, I just think it really cheapens the game. But here we go. The Dodgers are as good as they are despite Roberts, not because of him. Okay, it's tough. You guys, I'm your shoulder to cry on, and yeah, it's interesting. Ron Fig. Okay, cool. I'll drink some beer. Actually, it's a large Coke from Mickey D's. Not a sponsor of the show, but hey, McDonald's. Dodgers. That's for my man Clint, by the way. Well, that was an underwhelming homestand. Hit that like button for DMAC. Yeah, guys, even though this was a loss, definitely hit that like button because this is your show, and I got some good news. We're doing more shows than ever this year, and it's because of you. The success of the show, all your fire takes, all your comments and questions really have helped this show grow to the point where we're doing more shows this year. So definitely, even though the Dodgers have lost, smash a like button because if you're liking this show, when you like this show, you're liking your own show. Like I said, this is your show. I'm just hosting it here. Here we go. AC/DC Freak. If Hudson pitches the 8th, we win. Better be a reason he wasn't in there. Yeah, I think as I talked to Hudson a little bit yesterday, too. I mean, he didn't show any signs of having any issues, so it'll be interesting if they ask him that question. Yes, I agree. DMAC, bring back Rayleigh and Souza. Nando 390. Hey, I'm already feeling better. By the way, how about Eddie Alvarez? I mean, Eddie Alvarez to get that clutch base hit there was just unbelievable. I'm calling him America's hero, and I'm going to go out on a limb here. This is the coldest take over here. He's the best speed skater in all of Major League Baseball. I don't even need to look it up. There's no debate. No one can touch him on the ice. But, yeah, no. But in all seriousness, I think Eddie Alvarez getting his first hit today, I think that was major for him, of course, getting that ball. You know, every time you see them doing this, you know it's special because they're going to keep that ball. But, yeah, I think jumping on that first pitch there, in the 9th inning after Chris Taylor's clutch at bat, and we're going to talk about CT3's at bat as well, I thought was big because, look, I mean, they've lost Edwin Rios for a good chunk of time, and then Max Muncy still is going through it and trying to find himself and trying to be honest with himself, as Dave Roberts keeps saying. They want him to be honest with himself as far as where he's at, and I just think it's a tough game to lose because then tomorrow you go to Chicago to play a very good White Sox team on the road. They got to bounce back because, look, this is a series that Dodgers could have easily taken 3 out of 4, and today was another good example, too, of this team goes as Mookie goes. We know that Mookie is, by the way, I was in the clubhouse, and Mookie is serious about this club dub thing. Like, I told Mookie, I was like, dog, you got to go with the DJ named Mookie Bass. And he liked it, but yeah, anyways, yeah, you got Mookie's with the headphones on. He's really, doing some scratching on the 1s and 2s. But like I said, this team, when Mookie has success, this team has success. It's really as simple as that. Today they were able to put up 4 runs under their season average, but Mookie goes 0 for 5 today. And yeah, 0 for 5. Freddie Freeman. It was nice to see Freddie Freeman get a couple hits yesterday, get a couple hits today. He had been going through a little bit of a slump. He goes 2 for 5, and he got that double to left field. So when he's getting those powered left field doubles and he's hitting it to all fields, and you love his approach. So for him to get that double, I thought was big for him. And then Trey Turner, he goes 2 for 4, and he gets that home run for the Dodgers there in the bottom of the first inning, but not much doing for this Dodgers offense other than that. They ended with 9 hits, but they go 2 runs in the first, they get 2 in the 9th, and nothing after that in the 10th. And from the 2nd to the 8th inning, not very many opportunities. If you look at runners in scoring position today, LA goes 2 for 9. They left 7 runners on base. So just couldn't really get that timely hit. They couldn't take advantage of runners on the corners in the 5th inning after Eddie Alvarez got his his first base hit. Trey Turner, he strikes out. And then the second inning, they got that leadoff double there by Cody Bellinger. And then following that, Taylor flew out, then Alvarez struck out, and then Lux, he grounded out. So they had some opportunities to generate more runs. And after yesterday, we knew that they were going to need to score a good amount of runs to get the win today, and they came up just short. I love the fight with this Dodgers team, but the numbers do not lie. If you look back all the way from last season, the struggles in one-run games are real. I want your theories. Is it Dave Roberts? Is it the approach at the plate? The fact that this team likes to slug? We know that this team has success when they're hitting home runs, when they're leaving the yard, but sometimes in a one-run game, in a close game, you just need base runners. You need to generate offense. So to me, I think that's one of the reasons why they come up short in some of these games. And look, it's the clutch gene. It's tough to really put your finger on it, but sometimes it's about getting that big base hit. We saw Gavin Lux. He got the big base hit a few weeks ago with the Dodgers only after he hit the Dodgers, when he hit the Dodgers, only walk-off hit of the season. But you need that in these close games. Also, you need pitching to step up. And today, Brusdar Graterol wasn't able to get the job done. I thought Evan Phillips, a guy who wasn't expecting to pitch yesterday in the top of the sixth, we'll talk about that. But let's jump back into your comments, guys, and we'll keep breaking down this game. We got Sarah throwing 101 miles per hour is great, but Graterol continues to be inconsistent and unreliable. Not a high leverage guy. Roberts needs to start using him as such. We got Neil. When Buehler was chirping at the ump, Roberts should have had the catcher do a mound visit to go out and argue with the ump to settle him down. Yeah, I thought that they could have used an extra mound visit there today. I think that's a good call. I think that, look, it's like a free timeout. It's really exactly that, and you just slow things down, allow guys to just kind of reset, take a deep breath, kind of gather the approach, gather the attack plan, and just kind of take it from there. We got Doug, give Valhalla Sports a thumbs up. Well, here you go. Here's your thumbs up. I'll give you a Let's Go Dodgers too, Michael. Deborah, Brusdar just didn't have his stuff today. We got don't like it. We got hate. This is your response to the extra inning rule. We got hate. We got concerned. Buehler having to reinvent himself so early in his career. He doesn't have to completely reinvent himself. Reinventing himself is what Clayton Kershaw did when his fastball went from 96, 95 down to 90, and you saw him throwing that slider more than that fastball, and he's had success with it. But really, when it comes to Walker Buehler, it's not about reinventing. Reinventing is completely ditching that four-seam fastball. And yes, the numbers, look, I'll just kind of, in short, last year, the four-seam fastball, it was the number 6 graded four-seam fastball in the league. Now it's in the 300s, okay? It's gone from 6 to in the 300s, and if you look at all the peripherals, all the numbers, the expected batting average, the slugging, it's not pretty, but it's not necessarily the velo as it is the command and leaving it out over the plate. So I think that you just kind of need a more like a Buehler 2.0 than a complete reinvention. You need to remodel him, not a complete teardown, not a down-to-the-studs rebuild, more just a remodel for Walker Buehler. And I think he's going to be just fine. He's a guy that wants it more than anyone. He's a fierce competitor. He's a guy that has that fire and that desire to be a great pitcher, to be a perennial all-star, to make runs at Cy Youngs, but he just needs to settle down, get back to the drawing board, and kind of focus on some of those mechanics, and I think he's going to be just fine. Now, is he a sticky stuff merchant? We've talked about that quite a bit, and yes, he definitely is not the same pitcher as when pretty much the entire league was using some form of foreign substance, but he still has the arm strength. It's not like he's completely lost his fastball. But here we go. Hate that rule from Patrick Gagne on the runner on second. Ruben, as a Mets fan, not a fan of the zombie player. What up, Ruben? Hey, welcome to the show, man. Hey, I'm just going to tell you this right now. Where'd that Braves fan go? Where's that Braves? Did his mommy put him to sleep in his basement or something? I want to see Dodgers Mets in the NLCS. The baseball world needs to see a Mets Dodgers NLCS. We saw what happened in 1988. We've seen what happened. I'm not even gonna bring up the whole JD Drew situation in the run at home, but we saw some of those series have been very competitive. They're just, look, New York versus LA, it just hits different. Let's just be honest. I'm not going to be some mega market snob. Some people think, oh, I'm all about the mega markets, and definitely I am, but it just hits different when you have New York versus Los Angeles on the game's biggest stage. And Buck Showalter, I think, is a great character. I think that you saw his managerial acumen at its highest level, and I think that he's really been a great spark for that team, a great leader for that team. You saw Stephen Cohen, the richest owner in Major League Baseball, and what he's been able to do with that roster and all the talent they've been able to add. I think you match them up with the Dodgers, it's going to be must-see TV, Met-see TV. But here we go. We got Eric. Why does this happen every time? Dude, tell me about it. It's pretty maddening. When's May coming back? Bobby over on Facebook. Dustin May is expected to return at some point after the All-Star break. He's made strides. He's posted videos of him throwing, so he's definitely on track to return following the All-Star break. Now, the only question is to what capacity. Will they have him start games and go 2-3 innings? Will they have him coming out of the bullpen in high-leverage situations, a role that he's had some experience with, we saw in 2020, but he is a guy that was really expected to be a starter in 2021 when he really was emerging as a budding superstar with all the success that he was having. So I think he's definitely coming back. It's just a question of the role he's going to have, and the same thing with Danny Duffy. So there are some reinforcements on the way, just not imminently. We're talking about months away at this point. But here we go. We got Daniel, man on second base and extras is the dumbest role ever for the woke generation. What's next? A required female player on each team. I don't see the correlation there. Kind of regret reading your comment, but yeah, I don't think it's about that. I think it's really just about trying to shorten these games as much as possible. Maybe they think it's more exciting. Maybe they think it's more incentive for fans to stay at games. When I say I think, I'm just going to say I know, because those are reasons that I've heard why. Rob Manfred, check that. Rob Manfred
Finish him.
has elected to go this route, and they think there's a better idea. So, and also the players. Do you really want to burn out your bullpen? And look, there's that too, but I just think it cheapens the game. Wouldn't. Can't score run with runner on second base. That's from Juanita. Damien, Trinan and May will help the bullpen. Got to get healthy. Eric, the Dodgers should be winning that game. Ray, it's easy to blame Roberts, and I do blame him for a bit for this loss, but our bullpen just didn't perform well today. The runner on second is so whack. Sweet hat. Yeah, I copped this yesterday, man. It's the new hat. Do you guys like the new hat? I mean, I said why not, man? I said why not? Who cares? I'm always, I'll get it. I bought some of the most ridiculous Dodger hats in the day, so why not? I think it's an upgrade too with the jerseys than just the straight up Lowe's. I think the Lowe's Dodgers hat looks really good just by itself, but I think when you pair it with the Lowe's Dodgers on the hat and the jersey, it's a little much. So I do think it's a nice little upgrade. I think the hat's better than last year's, but McDonald's just got a free commercial. They just did. I know, man. But Dodgers post game show. Dodgers Nation postgame. Here we go. We got Free Bauer, Nando 390. We got 14 Habibs. Yeah, but don't you guys love this, man? Look, I read comments I disagree with. It's all love. Trust you, man. I disagree with your comments, but that's the thing about this show, which is different than other shows. Is like I don't need this echo chamber. I like to hear different opinions. The more we disagree, the better, I think, sometimes. So, yeah, feel free to disagree with me. The new City Connect hats are fires from 2 Rad Chad. 14 Habits, but seriously give Julio some damn run support. Ray Bar Simeon, it's great to see the Giants struggling, though. I knew their performance was was a fluke. We got Juanita, terrible showing by the Dodgers. Mets played without DeGrom and Scherzer. That's a good point, too. I mean, they didn't have their 2 top guys, and Max Scherzer and Jacob DeGrom. That Scherzer dog story is wild. I don't want to get into weeds on that one, but why didn't he show that dog for the Dodgers in the NLCS last year? Why couldn't he go in Game 6, that critical elimination game? I wish he had the dog in that game instead of just laying down and making that business decision. I think that things could be different. Yo, D-Mac, the People's Champ, hosting the People's Show. Appreciate you, Blue702. I'm going to give you a Go Dodgers. We're going to start calling this, and that's because of you, Blue702, the People's Show. Is exactly what it is. That's what I'm talking about, my man. Verdell Newsome, Kimbrel is unreliable, and his days of being intimidating are done. I think Kimbrel, his days of being that all-world elite, best clear-cut reliever in the game are probably behind him, but you saw last year in over 36 innings pitched with the Cubs a .49 ERA, so he's not that far removed from being one of the best relievers in the game. Do I think he could ever be a Josh Hader type like the year he's having? I do not, but I do think when you look at who is available on the market, considering they got him for an A.J. Pollock that's been, let's just be honest, atrocious this season, I think it was the smart move, and I also think that he's going to be more consistent than Kenley Jansen, who blew a save recently as well. But here we go. I think you have to mention the fact that the Dodgers 31 games in 30 days. So since May 7th, I believe, the Dodgers go 31 games in 30 days. They go 19-12 in that stretch with a plus 56 run differential, a 3.42 ERA, and 42 bombs. So the fact that they were able to navigate their way through a 10-game road trip, play some tough opponents, I think that you'll take it, especially when you consider the injuries, the guys they have out. And I think that the positives really are Tony Gonsolin and Cy Anderson. Yes, it's Dave Roberts. That's from Boomer Assassin. Is that a play on Boomer Esiason? Because I think that's really clever, and I got to give you props for that. Stan, you just can't move without Cody. Sorry you can't lose him. Let's go down to this comment section. Yet Mets lucky to split. Doug, how do you manage to get your brim so perfectly curved? You know, man, look, I won't give myself credit for anything in life, but the one thing I'll give myself credit for is I'm a good bill curver. I don't know. I just got that feel. I just do it. So it's a one take thing too. I do it once I put it on. It's a one take thing, and it's just like it's a feel thing. I got the magic touch. Look, I'll give you guys my address. You guys want to send me your hats? I'll curve it for you, and then I won't send it back. I'll just keep them. No, I'm just kidding. I'll send them back. I'm telling you, you just gotta feel it, man. You just gotta know your curve. But it's funny you said that because I've had people tell me that. I don't know. It's the one thing I feel like I'm elite at. No, I was playing. But Roberts is so bad. Why doesn't anyone else see this? From Jeremy. Mike Jones, who? G-Nats are frauds. Luckiest year in history last season. Absolute aberration. I agree. We got it's not. What about San Diego thoughts? I think San Diego's tough. I definitely think that their rotation has come around. I think Tyler Rogers is a top 10 reliever, but they have lost some games to their bullpen this season. They're still going to get Tatis Jr. back. You still have Manny Machado, who's having his best year since he signed there. Really one of the best years of his career in the MVP conversation, along with Mookie Betts. Paul Goldschmidt, of course, having a great year as well. So, yeah, I think that the San Diego Padres aren't the fraud Rays, at least yet. I think they are for real. David P., the Dodgers are better than last year, but Dodger Stadium is where hitters go to die. We got Stan the Rams fan, San Francisco sucks, no more. Verdell Newsom. Let's face it, the Dodgers are a good team, not a great team like media thought in the beginning. I mean, I think that the way I would look at it is they have put up a really nice record. They've beat the opponents they're supposed to beat for the most part. I think that they had an opportunity to really make a statement against the Mets, especially when you consider that you got your frontline guys going against the Mets, and then you also have Cy Anderson. I think the fact that I mean, it was a missed opportunity, but they've also had some attrition. They've dealt with some injuries, and now you look at this Mets team, 37-19 on the year. The Dodgers 35-19, and we all know that those are two teams that are competing for a World Series championship. So you really got to keep your eye on the Mets. The Braves at 28-27. Where's that Braves fan? Here we go. Here's my take on everyone hating on the team right now. Would you rather have? I want to read this one. Would you rather? This is from Damien over on Facebook. Damien Kametani. Here's my take on everyone hating on the team right now. Would you rather them playing their best baseball now or in September and October? No team can play great from May on. That's a fantastic point. You want to peak at the right time. At the same token, there are some of these common threads from last year's team where they're not able to pull out games where they're close and extra innings games. So I definitely think some of these reoccurring themes that really kind of frustrated you last year are reappearing again this year. So I think that is a concern, but I'm with you 100%. I think that if Tony Gonsolin and Tyler Anderson, if they can do anything close to sustaining their brilliance of late, and then Walker Buehler starts to get things going, if things start to click with him, and then Julio Urias, I think that I'm very confident he's going to be steady and he'll get it going as well. And then Clayton Kershaw can come back and pick up where he left off. I think this team is definitely, and also we didn't even mention Andrew Heaney. So Andrew Heaney is a guy that was the talk of the Dodger world for the first couple of weeks of the season. So I definitely think that good times are ahead. And, Clayton Kershaw, he made a start with the Quakes today, so he's on his way back. He's on the mend. WB Brewstar needs to throw strikes. Having to get a strike over late in the count is killing him. Yeah, absolutely. I think that when they're sitting on counts where they know they're going to get that heater, they can cheat up a little bit. You see them doing that, getting into their swing earlier during some of those pitches, and it puts themselves in a position where they're able to get some quality contact and get base hits. So, yeah, I think getting ahead is massive for him, and I think that you hit the nail on the head with a pitcher like Brusdar Graterol, a guy that's still in the developmental stage where he hasn't quite fully established himself as a reliable high leverage reliever, even just a kind of middle of the pack reliever in this league. Yeah, getting ahead is massive, really. San Diego is good, won't make the postseason. That's from 2Rad Chad. We got Dodgers are great. NL West is just better than people expected. We got Swelliness Roberts is super nice and subservient man, but just can't come up with anything when it comes to managing a baseball game. Hugo Dominguez, Dodgers were built to win the West, and that is it. They don't have the toughness to play with the big boys. I disagree with that. I think this team has the MVP of the league in Mookie Betts at the top of their order, and then they added Freddie Freeman, who won an MVP in 2020 and is coming off a World Series championship. You have Trey Turner, a guy that definitely still needs to prove himself in the postseason, but he's an elite player. You have an emerging Will Smith, who many believe is already the best catcher in the league right now when you talk about being a complete catcher, and his best baseball is in front of him this season. And then you got at the bottom of the order with Cody Bellinger, Chris Taylor, a lot of depth on this team. You haven't mentioned Justin Turner. I think what it comes down to is who are the guys they're going to rely upon in this bullpen this season? What are the injuries going to look like? Because we saw last year, all of a sudden they started to pile up. This year you're seeing some critical injuries. So look, it is a lot of attrition, but I think this team has the depth to deal with it, and this organization still has the ability to go out and make a move. And we know that if they think there's an area where they need to address, I can totally see them going out and making a trade for a Frankie Montas or a Luis Castillo or a pitcher out there that they think can help him. But when you look at it too, I think right now it's still a little early. We'll see what they got with these guys. I don't think that they're in a position where they have to make any desperate moves, and I think that they're going to play their cards right. I also think that they might want to consider an impact reliever too, because I think internally we know that we've got the Groves, you got the Pepios, you've got the Knacks, you've got some guys that can potentially help you, but I think that you need a trusted veteran really that could get you over the top. But here we go. Roberts can't handle a pitching staff. Yeah, bullpen management. D-Mac loves him some Montas. I definitely do. I mean, I don't think his stuff will play up in the postseason. Nasty splitter, has the high velo that you want to see. They can miss bats when it matters most. And I just think that they're in a great spot. I've talked to some people around the league that have told me that the A's are going to wait to the very end to trade him to try to maximize his value. They want to create a bidding war for Frankie Montas, and that's kind of what they're going to do. So will the Dodgers really put themselves in a position where they might have to pay up big and kind of unload some of their top prospects for him, considering the fact that he's under one more year of team control? That's another question. But look, I mean, how about Pablo Lopez of the Miami Marlins? Man, he's been fantastic. I think Malley too. I think Tyler Malley is a guy that, if you look at his numbers, you'd say, what the hell? Why would you consider him? ERA, over 5, and he's struggled this year, but he's still got the stuff coming off some solid outings. I think if you can look out for a guy that you can maybe give for some value, something I would consider. But it sounds like panicking here. Let's get this guy or that. It's not about that, Michael Bell, but let's just think about this. Save for the 2020 season when they didn't go out and get Lance Lynn on a shortened season, every year it seems like the Dodgers are making a move. We saw 2017 they go out and get Yu Darvish. You saw 2018 Corey Seager goes down. They go out and they get Manny Machado. 2019, no real massive impact moves. They were in talks with the Pirates over Felipe Vasquez, and thankfully they dodged that bullet. But then you saw after the 2020 season, they all go out and get Mookie Betts. You saw them go out and get Max Scherzer and Trey Turner. This is a team that, trust me, they are all in. This is a must-win year, in my opinion. To me, if you want to win with this group, with Clayton Kershaw and Trey Turner and some of these guys, this is a massive win-now team. I mean, you just don't know if Max Muncy's going to be back, or Justin Turner's going to be back, or Clayton Kershaw. I mean, this has a last dance feel that no one's talking about. But yep, guys, a couple more, and I'll let you guys get out of here. A couple of things. Yeah, top of the 6th, Lindor single to center. Alonso fouled to first for the first out. Then Evan Phillips, he comes in. He does a nice job. He gets Davis to fly to right for the second out. Then Canna, he singled to right. Lindor advanced to second. And then with runners on first and second, Dr. Filth, Evan Phillips, he strikes out Escobar with a fastball, gets him swinging to strand the runner in scoring position. So nice job by Evan Phillips there, and we kind of broke down what happened after that. How about top of the 7th inning with Brusdar Graterol? he comes in. First he comes in. He got Starling Marte to chase that sinker low and away for the third out. So really a nice job by Brusdar to come in there in the 7th inning. But before that, we got a little bit of trouble there after he hit Evan Phillips hit Nemo with that pitch on his hands there. So yeah, I think all in all, this team, you wanted to see him score a little more earlier in the game, give Urias a little more run support, and then maybe he goes longer in this game. You kind of push everyone back. So I think when you consider the fact that their top 2 guys this year, Julio Urias, they were able to go, just over 7 innings with Buehler and Urias combined. So I think the fact that they didn't get enough out of them, you saw the bullpen, they were floundering in certain spots, and look, they just didn't get the big hit. But I think this team is all in all state of the Dodgers. I think they're in a good place. I think Mookie Betts, he's on fire. Freddie Freeman getting out of that slump, that was encouraging. Trey Turner, he's been Mr. Consistent. I think that Will Smith, a guy who was hitting sub 200 in that cleanup spot, to have him go up there, get a home run to get him going. I mean, there were some positive takeaways from this game. There's no question about it. The fight at the end, and Chris Taylor's competitive at bat there. Eddie Alvarez getting his first hit. So if you want to look at the Michelada half full, there are some things that you can point to. But I think all in all, it's just frustrating because this is a Mets team that was definitely looking at this Dodgers team saying, hey, this is the team that's the favorite to win the World Series. We're the other big market team in the National League, and we got the split, and I think the Dodgers, they could easily have taken 3 or 4 in this series. But do you guys think that what are your thoughts on that 6-run rule when it comes to position players, how you can't use your position player to pitch unless you're up 6 or more? I think, to me, you got to let people manage their team how they want to manage their team. Last year, actually, I have the number offhand. Last year, how many position players do you think pitched in a game? I have the number here. Give me your guesses down below. D-Mac is a part-time hand model. What is that? I'm not George Costanza. No, I was playing. We got since 2019, we've had the best team. Only winning once is aggravating. Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one for sure. And look, they ran to a buzzsaw against the Nationals in 2019. And look, baseball is a cruel sport, man. It's not for the faint of heart. D-Mac, my wife wants to know how your face is so flawless, and my daughter loves your hat. Okay, tell your wife my face is about to turn red right now, okay? Because you're tripping, my man. But, yeah, man, we'll get you a hat. Now, I'll hook you up with a hat. I got a Lasorda hat I can send you. Find out how to give me your address. I got a hat to send you. 22, okay, pound for pound gets his 22. Kimbrel is so bad. We got, I'm pretty much holding on by a thread. Faith Agrado, his fastball is impressive, but it doesn't matter if it's hittable. Yeah, I think Walker Buehler's burner, you bring up a great point. That's a great way to describe his fastball at times, and that is it is hittable. So, yeah, imagine giving up down 5. The Mets can't. They come back from those. Yeah. So it was 89 position players pitched last season. So there you have it. But thanks, guys, for rocking with us. I know it was a frustrating loss, but an exciting game. It was a nice fight from the Dodgers, and they're back at it tomorrow against the Chicago White Sox on the road. Couple more comments here. Deborah Young, we need some small ball. The 6-run difference rule is about so much. By the way, I'm going to be dropping the secrets of Dodger Stadium. Look for that on our YouTube channel. I dropped a trailer on our Instagram yesterday, so be on the lookout for that. A lot of things you might not have known about Dodger Stadium. We'll be dropping that on the YouTube channel probably tomorrow, but let me know down below. But thanks again, guys. My name is Doug McCain. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DMac_LA. That's at DMac_LA. For all latest Dodgers news, rumors, high videos, interviews, breakdowns, and more all season long, be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. And if you want to see us post even more Dodgers content, smash that like button. And as always, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
It's time for